Hello guys, this is JR Live TV, JohnRemus.com TV. Got my equipment charging in the background, laptop, speaker. I just got a new Monster Nomad speaker. It's a small box size speaker, very impressive. And I'm actually in the foreground. You can see I'm at the Almona Shopping Center, and I'm actually in proximity to a few nightclubs, so I'm doing a little rapping and playing a little music for some people. Fun time. But I want to represent 10 concepts or misconceptions that people will get, when they're looking at society. Number one being that you have to, quote unquote, get your spouse. It's not about getting someone or having to capture them like getting some, like somebody trying to follow someone. It's about being yourself and defining and really knowing who you are, and also, of course, refining yourself. You want to be healthy. You want to be presentable to the extent you're able, and naturally, of course, your dream mate would complement you not only in similar dream interests, but surely in similar age and health, and you have a mutual attraction, but there's also another element of you complement each other personality wise. So this is not something that you have to force or should force. So for example, a lot of people might think, oh, I just saw this person, I hope they like me, I wish. There is no hoping or wishing or wanting. It's just truth and knowing this, and clean, healthy, clean respect for each other, that leads you away from random people why it's the point of giving them your energy, to instead focus your energy on your dreams and your dream mate. And that leads me to number two concept. The idea that it's which is what the ego contrives. The idea that you have to, you have to impress everyone. And this might sound like the first one, but it's a little different, because it's where the ego thinks that, oh, I wish I had, a certain body type or certain body parts or anything that would make one indicate to a person that, oh, what's the most attractive. There is no most attractive. There's such a variety out there, and what actually brings people together, surprisingly, is not necessarily because there's so many different factors. That's all I'm saying. I think that's understood. But the point is to remind yourself that sometimes, because the ego will say that, oh, I wish I had a different body. The reality being that, you don't need a different body. You just need to be you. And of course, if your body isn't healthy or attractive enough, you think, for a relationship, then don't want to force one with anyone. Don't want somebody to give oral sex to you or have intimacy with you if you don't think your body's attractive. Instead, just work on this life and build and make things good. And maybe if you want to, if your body is so messed up, just commit humane suicide and jump into your next life. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's always about investing in our future incarnations. All right? But the point being, number three, energy. Who you give your energy to. If you give it randomly, then you'll not have enough energy to pursue your dreams. You give your energy and passion and love. Especially for guys, they think that, oh, this woman, I impressed this woman, I treated her well, I paid for her needs, for basic needs, and now and even gifts, so desires and or wants, and then I am able to please her and physically, and great, I'm winning. But guess what? If that woman doesn't have the same dreams as you, she's going to use everything you're giving her to devote to what she's interested in and not what you have mutual interest in. So that's number 3. Just make sure you're giving your energy to yourself and in turn your dream mate, your future dream mate. And then we have number 4, the misconception that somehow, you know, certain people, their bodies are more attractive than others. You know, different races and different ethnicities and all of that stuff. Like that's not a warm thing. That's something like animal. It doesn't even feel good. It's not oriented around joyfulness. Joyfulness is all about being kind, being wanting good for other people, being able to look at people and say, you know, I want good for you. I want you to have a great life, your dream mate. You know, be happy. You know, and even this has to do with envy. Even if you look at people and think that, you look at them and think that, there really is no such thing as envy. That's number 4. All right, it's really disapproval. Because say for example, you see someone who has wealth and maybe they're misusing it, or maybe they have a body and they're misusing it. That is nice, guys. What's up? I'm no, just doing a personal video. But cool, thanks guys, thank you. Right on. And basically, you know, there's positive stuff going on out there, but in order to actively create it, you have to transcend that idea of, I hate this person because they're, you think they're better or lesser than you, or you feel badly for them. That's not a reality. The reality is that people cannot be joyful if they're misusing their body. So it's not something to be envious of. You see, for example, people trying to seduce people with their money and their body, in like short-term relationships, trying to, like at say a nightclub or whatever, that type of scene. It's not a fun thing, It's all surrounded by alcohol, drunkenness. Alcohol kills the sex drive. Alcohol makes people do things that they wouldn't otherwise do with people they don't otherwise know. So what's the deal with that? You know what I mean? And number five is I've actually covered a lot right there, just there. But I'm gonna throw out another one. Number 5 is the idea that you need to have a big breast, big pee-pee, big VV, tight VV, or whatever it is, shallow, whatever. There is a variety of people out there, and obviously sex organs and everything. And the simple thing is, if you focus on other people and their relationships and their bodies, that'll distract and interfere with your joy and your pleasure that you need to share with yourself and your spouse. And if you don't like your body or sex organs, then all you have to do is not procreate and invest in people where you think they have attractive bodies and corresponding minds. That's simple, and then you're investing in your future incarnations. You might, end up being their grandchildren, theoretically speaking, in your next life, for example. That's investing in your future incarnations. It's number 5. And actually, my personal opinion, I feel like, depending on the person's body size and type, there are variables, but I think it's better to have a medium-sized sex organs men's and women's, and to in addition to that, to have a flatter chest for women, because I think that it interferes with exercise and sexuality, and what was I so yeah, that's that, right? That's, and then, medium-sized sex organs, they're easier to keep erect, or the woman keep the vagina active, and have extended sessions of intercourse, where they can keep going and going. These are things to consider, but just to feel good about somebody. If they have a great body, feel good about them. If obviously you disapprove of them if they're just misusing it, but if they're able to have a nice, caring relationship and passionate, maybe even film some pornography or whatever with their loved spouse in a loving way, do some fun role playing. They go into fucking the wife dresses in a maid uniform or pretends to be a half sister or whatever. Fun role playing. That's that. I think I've thrown a lot on the table here. I don't know what else there is. Don't know what else. What else is on the table as far as misconceptions? I think that was 5 or 6 that people get when they look at society. Another is that the ego thinks it's cool to talk about relationships and sex organs and whatnot, breasts. There are certain things that are just, should be not talked about, respectful of others. There is an exception. I think the vagina should be celebrated, and wide hips, because they make it easy for the passage of childbearing, and women wearing yoga pants. You see the nice vagina there. I think that's great. I think that it's like every woman's a different flower and should be celebrated, and should be allowed to show off, dress sexy. Although number 7, I have this theory that only married women should dress revealing and suggestively. The theory implies, this is so funny. These guys, they go and they park here, and they're all drunk, and they don't realize it's no towing zone, and the tow trucks just come. It's just a funny little dynamic. But no, like I was saying, what was I saying per se? Just a general concept of what was I saying? I think I'll wrap it up. I think I've expressed plenty there, and I think you get the good feel for my style and my opinions, and how people can just take a step and be positive. And I was saying, celebrate the woman. Each woman's like a flower. That's a fun thing, And I was suggesting that that only married women should be stripper dancers, or dress sexy, because then there's no sexual tension. There's no anxiety of who are they trying to seduce, or what are they trying. No, instead, it's, I'm married and I just want to show off my body and have some fun. And especially in particular in pop culture, sometimes men or women will make references to breast or penis. I don't think it's appropriate or politically correct. Only vagina is correct, I feel. And it's almost queer sometimes. Rap artists or whatnot will talk about, I want to, whack you with my pee-pee, or whatever, women, etc. I think it's kind of queer for men to be talking about that. Just as I think it's queer for women or men to be talking about breast size. Certain things, should be, and also I don't think it's appropriate for women to show cleavage, even if they're married. Just a personal opinion. Something to think about. You might agree with 2 out of my, number of ideas, and you might even have some commentary for me to consider, to look at. I'm glad that you were able to patiently listen to my series of ideas, and I'll conclude with this last kind of fun one. This final one is this idea of trying to seduce or impress a woman. I feel like people shouldn't, what do you call it's the people talk about, oh, I want a bitch, or certain religions might encourage, or people, it's not a religion, it's a person, an individual. Individuals make decisions, not religions. So everyone's individually responsible. But to suggest you want a submissive person in your life, or a bitch, it's a bad idea, because it makes you be around a submissive person. And it's, if people really care about each other and find themselves to be equals, then guess what they're going to do? They're going to want somebody who's powerful and competent next to them to be their spouse, their wife. And there's kind of a paradox that occurs where guys might want to seduce or impress somebody they don't respect, like a prostitute. They might want to give them money, but if they really cared about the person, like they met a prostitute that was their niece or whatever it is, somebody they cared about, then they would never want to give them money. So that's another paradox in life. That's a bonus fact, number 8, and suggesting that but watch out for what the ego will do. Activate your chakras. Don't expect other people to do it for you. Masturbate regularly. Make sure you can manage that energy so it doesn't control you. I guess that's 9 and 10. Thanks for the consideration, guys. Let's be true. Aloha.